que eu devo faire?
I like
Back
that Zuber's
from the
just
depths, doing things and stuff. Brian Talk.
How's it going, folks?
Hey, did that work?
Hopefully.
Hold on, I gotta pull the thingy down to see it. Talk again.
Hello.
Do we hear Brian? Because that would be awesome if we did. Oh, I've never liked any of you. Input. You hear Brian?
Yay!
Fuck yes! I literally checked everything only for me hearing it though, and I didn't look at any of my outputs and went, so well, maybe. this could be a thing.
We may be old men and we may have been off for a little bit for the holiday season and some well-needed recovery for both of us, but we are still inept at this.
Lyle coming in with a super chat. Brad Chester, being of sound mind, being a sound of mind, sound of body, and free from coercion. Well, you know that those first two are just huge lies, so am actively rooting for Notre Dame in the college football championship game. If the Irish win, we all win. Go Irish! Go fuck yourself. This is, I did make myself unbelievably happy. Sometimes a broken Brad hurts and has a hard time making it through the day, and then he just watches Sawyer taking it to the house over and over and over again.
All right, so congratulations to I don't know, that team that we shall not mention, making it to the championship game. It'll be really fun when they lose to a little Catholic school.
Oh, shut your face! OH. Welcome to the world of tomorrow.
I just found out the other day from my nephew, who's 14, 15 years old. And he was like, oh, well, you know what Ohio means, right, Brian? And I'm like, no, I have no idea. He goes, oh, that means it's terrible. So they have their slang word for terrible is Ohio.
You know what? That's hurtful. That's hurtful talk, man. Same, Brad, same. I love that Zoob's just put up a story. I had to scroll back. I'm like, wait a second. What the fuck is even happening here? I'm good to be back in chat. We took some time off. We wanted to get some stuff ready. And there wasn't a lot of 40K stuff. There was the Grotness Christmas, which, by the way, guys, as a whole, they hit them out of the park. I know like 100 other channels have done reviews on them though, but I do want to say that 80% of them were fucking great. They were just fine. You know what I mean? They interested you quite a bit, or at least they interested me quite a bit. And a couple of them sucked the tornado of dicks, and a couple of them were OP. You know what I mean? And
so, which ones do you think were OP? Just on the quick, I think these are OP.
I think Bridgehead was OP. I just think that Scion detachment, it was already pretty what the shit, and they slammed that down. I think that Shatterstar's not as OP as everybody says it is, but I think it's still really good. I mean, +1 to hit, +1 to wound. You know what I mean? Well, it's not everywhere, but effectively it is. It's pretty goddamn big. God damn it, Lyle. Kyle takes it with a $5 super chat. Breaking news! Notre Dame just signed Thomas P. Ogden to an NIL deal because they know Brad can't beat Tom. There is a video about that. I do refute it in that video. Tactical from Orcs is super strong. I
agree.
I have wild bias to this, but I really thought that the Orcs was the best done. It wasn't OP. It really felt like it was power level equal to Warhorde, but it gave you a completely different way to play the Orcs with some super fun shit. I thought that one for me, and obviously I really like Orcs, so, I'm again, a little biased, but I really felt that one did everything you want in an attachment. It gave you options. It gave you some shooting. It gave you some shenanigans. It didn't feel OP, but it felt very strong. It gave you a lot of things that you could do. And it just got your brain rocking. You know what I mean? So I like that attachment. You know, anytime you can just go, and I'm not going to shit on it, I'd be like Shatterstar, for instance, for Necrons. That was just obviously you do this and this, you know what I mean? Like it's really good, don't get me wrong, but like it didn't give you like 100 questions to ask. Like the tactics I really felt went, what are you doing with this? You know what I mean? You could do these 15 different things. Which one of them's the best? I don't know. It made me want to play the game. You know, it didn't just say this is good, I'm going to smash with it. It made me feel I would like to really build new lists with it.
Yeah, I think with the exception of a detachment or two that clearly were written for stuff down the road, that they did a great job with that. And it showed this last weekend.
Yeah. I mean, old Mark Berry, Rock Otto and the big boy, stomp with it. I just think, I mean, Mark's a great player too. And him and I have been throwing Orcs ideas around for the last 8-9 years or whatever the hell. I have no idea. Time's meaningless to me. But I like the fact that there's just a lot you can do. Units that you weren't bringing before. I mean, the new tank busters, you know, having +1 to hit in Orcs is gigantic. Then, you know, full rerolls with your unit of flash kits, and then you've got reroll 1s with your shock attack gun units of tank busters. You've got so many like different things you can do. Plus, just putting on +1 strength does change the math quite a bit in a lot of those random squads, things like Storm Boys and stuff like that. You know, making the base guy strength 5, you know, that's a big deal for when you go to hit stuff. Can you pick up a unit of scouts? Can you go into random unit Acadians and clear enough of them off? You know, all of those things are just really cool on that. And I liked it a lot. Tank busters are 100% knowledge. You know what I mean? They went from 0 to hero. So, and I think that the Bridgehead detachment is just bananas town. I think people are now starting to see it. I thought that the Custodes Dread detachment was fantastically good. I think that power level in that one's gigantic. With +2 to their movement, you get +2 to their OC. You have a strat for advance and charge. You have a strat for going YOLO Kool-Aid Man through to a wall. And we've talked about this a million times. The threat of doing something is so much more than the thing, you know what I mean? So making people constantly have to worry about extra distance is such a huge deal. You know, you can make people just push off, and they're durable as shit, man. No one's ever thought that, you know, damage -1 2-up save guys are easy to get rid of.
Yeah.
So,
well, this weekend we had a really big event that got won by one of the Grotsminster detachments. You had Nottingham 40K Super Major in England, 375 players, 5 rounds, which means they cut to a top. And then Chaos Demons with Excess won. What do you think of that?
I think that I looked back at that. I actually went back and looked at that game because a couple people told me to take a sneak peek at it, and I think that Innis, Innis is a fantastic player, I think Innis lost his focus and kind of that, because I think that detachment is underrated, to be honest with you. I think that they can get places fast and they can really score some real big points, especially or deny a lot of points out of nowhere kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like you think you're taking 3 objectives and they just haul ass at you. Plus, those guys hit hard as shit, dude. You know what I mean? Whew. With the big boys can just soccer toss your tanks all over the place. So, like, I thought they had a really good game. Ennis was using effectively what Lyle and I came up with similar, you know, Blood Angels with no Blood Angels characters. I like it a lot. I'm still working on the final couple points after I took it to Glass City.
So do you think that was GW's intention when they came up with that new oath?
I don't know, to be perfectly honest with you. Also, there's a whole Reddit thread that either tells me that my list is trash or I broke the game and I should be terrible. Stop being so terrible. I didn't think at all. With Lyle, I'm going to give Lyle props on it because Lyle came up with the concept and then I started honing it down. And I didn't believe it would work at all. I was like, you're an idiot, Lyle. there's never going to be a chance this works. And I called you and you were like, it 100% works. And I was like, fine, Lyle, you may have been right. And
I mean, the way they worded it, it does work the exact way you guys built the list. Do I agree with it? I don't think that was their intention, but that's okay. It was what they wrote. Let's let it ride.
I mean, it is what it is. But I like the idea of it. I mean, it really changes the math with the +2 strength and +1 attack. You can just hit stuff that you have no business hitting. You know what I mean? I mean, the 5-man squads, if you put a captain with them, are just disgusting with full rerolls if they're on it. You know what I mean? You're wounding a tank on 4s with rerolls. You know what I mean? With your chain swords. You know, that's pretty crazy. You know, on that, it was a lot of fun to play. I liked throwing the chaplain in the JPIs and stuff like that. That felt super cool. Where all of a sudden you're like, hey, we get charge mortals plus the chaplain mortals plus you can chuck a grenade. And you're like, oh, I just killed a dreadnought before we attacked. You know what I mean? Like, and he makes them the +1 outside of that. So you can have 3 different instances of +1 to wound on the board. Your oath target, your chaplain, plus then the strat rage for +1 and or lethals. So it felt really, really good. The funniest thing is I played at Anna's and I played Kramer and he was like, there's no way this is how this works. And then we finally were like, all right, I guess it does work this way. And then he just immediately messaged me and goes, we have to play the long word doubles where you play 1,000 points, 1,000 points. He goes, I'll play Ultra Breeds. That way you get double oath to do your bullshit. I was like, how quickly you jumped on board.
Yeah, that is that is the fun of doubles.
Oh.
So my big thing, the one that I'm watching out for is that Index Deathwatch. I think that is highly underrated right now.
Yes, dude.
I think that the jump pack kill team, which I'm not going to remember the name of right now, is especially with the sustained 2 heavy bolters.
It's crazy. They've got
all that.
I think they have a lot of them though. The Indomitors get the +2 strength. You're talking about like flamers and or bolters with +2 strength. I think that's it. Here's my question. It doesn't say you have to take a 10-man squad. Right now in the app, it auto makes you give the points as soon as you get to 6, because you can take 3 aggressors, 3 heavy intercessors, and just that's it if you want to. You know what I mean? It doesn't say you have to go to 10. Are they going to point that, or are they just going to say that you have to take 10? Because it does not say you have to take 10.
You like with everything else, you pay the points once you go past the 5.
Yeah,
right?
but other people have that. We've got multiple people in their codices, their index codex, that can do a 3, 6, and a 9 and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was wondering if we were going to get.
I don't think we're going to. I think with the mixed attachment squad thing, where if you have the excess of toughness, where you've got the equal to or higher toughness on things, that people are just going to take other stuff for ablative wounds.
I can see that. It's just, I wish you could get a couple more with those, because I really like the idea of like that. They've got some really cool, but we just did we just recorded 2 Deathwatch episodes for the Lorecast, so I'm pretty juiced about them right now anyways, because they are like the special forces. They're the Rangers, the Berets, the SEAL, you know what I mean? Yep. You get the best of the best. You have to like be vetted before you're allowed to go to Deathwatch, you know what I mean? Like 3 different pieces have to say you're good enough to go. And then you rock out, and it's not even forever that you're Deathwatch. You effectively serve, an engagement. You know what I mean? However long you're gone, and then you come back to your chapter. So it's pretty cool. They're pretty wild. They have cool rules. You know what I mean? I mean, they're not as bad as they were. If anybody remembers Deathwatch in 8th edition, Oof. 8th edition, if Deathwatch played Xenos, you just got crushed. If Deathwatch played anything that wasn't Xenos, they didn't really have any good rules. But remember they had stratagems that were specific for like Necrons, Tau, Eldar, whatever. And they were all just dick moves stratagems too. You're like, why do you have that? That's so specific. What's going on, Nergomat? I have a thing for him. Nergomat is going to be an official judge in charge at LVO this year. So if you see him, buy him a drink, bribe him, give him a couple dollars, give him a Nurgle, put a Nurgling in his pocket. He'll give you all the best rulings after that. Deathwatch ammo was a bit ridiculous, KR.
The Kraken rounds are still kind of bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad, but you could use remember, you could change the special ammo on any, every time. Because apparently in 8th edition, they just went, what did we bring? All of the ammo. You're like, what? No, every single one. We change it out every turn if we wanted to. I think that was a big thing. What I want to tell everybody is guard artillery can go fuck itself. Dude, the fact that you can roll for every single unit that's outside of 12 in your army, every the other two are like, pick 3 things and do something to them. The artillery one is you may or may not have a bad time. I don't know what to make of that, because you're gonna high roll sometimes and nothing's gonna happen other times.
Yep. The guard book I don't want to get into too much because it's technically not out yet.
Yeah, it's just I looked at that and went, because it's a big deal, because it's -2 to your movement characteristic and then -2 to advance and charge. That's basically -4 to your move if you try to advance, because those are 2 different things. So you could just you effectively, if you don't.
Technically, I think does it say move characteristic, or does it say move?
It specifically says move characteristic, because if it said move, it would only be -2, but it's move characteristic and then 2 to advance. So if you roll an advance and you don't get a 3, go fuck yourself.
See, those rules should always be written, and this is just a me thing. It should be -2 to your normal move or your advance move, because they're different. And that would fix the whole problem of the wording. Then it wouldn't be -4.
You're not going to get dinged for talking about it. We're not going to. I mean, I'm only talking about the stuff that they already put out themselves. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So GW said, "Here's our stuff." we talking about that.
Yeah. I mean, granted, all the previews are out there. Excuse me, with all the streamers that get preview copies and everything. My thing is that, this, in my opinion, is one of the ones where I'm going, wow, they really messed up in the codex where they have to errata it day 1. Feels real bad, especially for people that just spent $60 on a book.
Yeah. I'm not really big on these. I like the idea of a special box whatnot. You know what I mean? I don't like the fact that they're not releasing the book at the same time as the special box. I feel like the people that want the special box want the special box. You know what I mean?
And I gotta give Zuber some credit, because we were discussing this one day at the store, and he was like, "This was a lore release, like 100% from Games Workshop." He was like, "The models in that box are 315 points, and it's a lore release. People who love Deathcore of Krieg went crazy because they really just wanted to get the models, they wanted to get the box, and then the players who really want the codex bought the models and the codex to get the codex." So this was kind of one of those weird boxes where, like, the Tau one, people were like, "Oh, well, I can wait for the codex to come out." This one, people just went bonkers for, because it was a mixture of the lore and models along with the codex.
I just like those. I mean, I like having a lot of the factions that I really like. I like having my special glowy codex and my cards that come with it and stuff like that. I would like to have, when you get your new shit, I would like to play my new shit. I don't like going, hey, I've got my new colorful box and I can't play my new rules because no one else got it yet. You know what I mean? Put them both in.
Yeah.
Also, thanks everybody for saying we're back. We are back.
We're back. We a well-needed break by both of us for health and wellness issues.
Yeah, I was saying, I still got roped in. Every episode of the Lorecast has come out on time, Monday, 7 Eastern time. Basically, when the Lorecast goes live as soon as this goes live. So,
but no, there was I got to say that the meta is in kind of a healthy spot. I don't think there's one super dominant list right now, which is really nice. And with all those Grotsmith's attachments going live, 2 codexes coming out, we are just getting the most up and down meta that we've had in quite a while.
I'm juiced about it. I'm very excited. I'm obviously ready to play Eldar. Also, I don't care if they're busted or not. I'm playing Eldar this time, so deal with it. Well, we're gonna bring him to. Well, hopefully we're bringing. I'm fighting with the with Alan and the boys because they're talking about bringing guard. So it was guard or Eldar they were bringing to the team tournament at Adepticon this year, and I would rather have pins in my eyes than play guard at the team tournament. I much rather play Eldar. Hey, would you rather play your favorite faction? Or, well, it's not my least favorite faction. It's my second least favorite faction. Admech.
What's the least favorite? AdMech?
Admech for sure. It's like shittier guard. You're like, hey, you're like me, but with a chip in your head, and you don't have free will. You're like, that sounds awful. Like, why would I want to do that? That's all. Wraith Knights are back. I can only hope Wraith Knights are back. We have 4 of them at Sniggs' house. I would love to have Wraith Knights back.
I just like that at Toledo. I walked up to Sniggs and went, "Hey, you happen to have a Hive Tyrant at home? Because I forgot one. I got something I can play in its place for the day." And he was like, "Yeah, what kind do you want?"
Oh,
and I was like, "One." I was like, "One on foot." He was like, "I think I have one on foot." And he's like, "I just grabbed a random one," and I was like, "That's the exact armaments I needed. Thanks."
He's got one of everything. I swear to God. It's funny because we gave out prizes again. Well done, Sniggs, for the Glass City
Fantastic.
team. Everything was great. Thank you, Gina, for making food as always. The best is when I got my loot and I didn't walk up because it was too far away, and Sniggs just put it in his pocket and went, so the same place this always goes. Right back into him. Recycled.
Well, yeah, because they're never your models.
No. They just get absorbed anyways. You know what I mean? Anything that I put in there, like he'll just randomly paint at some point in time, and it just gets absorbed into the Borg, onto the shelves. I'm not going to LVO this year. I've got my body doesn't work, so I have to do some stuffs. So,
and I'm not doing LVO because work is a thing.
It is a thing. So it's too bad we're missing it. There's a lot of people out there. LVO is always a good time. It is the most expensive tournament of the year, though.
Absolutely. Unlike the one that we are going to be running
Boom!
in Detroit.
And you know what? I'm going to click stuff. I've got things ready. Hold on. I can actually put the page up too. Bam! Motor City Major.
Yep, a lot of people were asking for Brad, myself, and others to bring something back to the Detroit area. Thanks to John and the 40K Lorecast, we were able to pull this off, and the Motor City Major is coming the first weekend in June.
Blammy! Shit's going down. I'm excited. We're also going to do weird stuff. Also, John's a madman, and he keeps trying to add rules. And we are eventually going to have to hit him with a trank gun because he just wants the craziest shit ever. Let's talk about some of the things that John wanted to do. Hey, in the final game, let's bring back vortex grenades.
Oh, yeah.
No, John, we're not.
You wanted virus bombs?
Virus bombs. It's like, I'm not going to tell anybody about it. Uh-oh. Like and subscribe. Forgot last time, which was last year. That is true. It was last year. Yeah. We will bring in a bunch of stuff out. I'm also recording stuff with Alan. So there will be some gentleman gaming, some noodling gentlemen will be showing up very, very soon. Come on out. I really want to, I'm going to try, we were just talking about it. I want to try to make it a very player-friendly, personalized. There's going to be a lot of space. We're giving a lot of nonsense away. Just a lot of little things. The trophies will be really, really nice. Things that I like because,
and then one of the things that I like is will be, by far, is as it says for the prize thing that's in there, best in faction for everybody, because that's a big fan of mine. And of course, there'll be a nice hobby focus as well, because I won't do something without it. So
also, because we make so much fun of Tau, if you want a wild prize, play Tau. Get best affectionate Tau. It will be large. Can I play on stream, ruin my reputation again? Lyle, you are currently in timeout.
No stream for you.
No stream. Southfield in 69, 2 years before I was born. I just forget that you're older than me. You're old, man. This is fantastic. Get back to some stats. I'm excited to get this tournament running, though. I'm very, very pumped.
Looking forward to it. We just updated we just ordered some updates to even more of the Salt City terrain, which was what we'll be using there. So we'll have some new buildings to put with everything to add some more height to a couple of the spots. So it's going to be nice. It'll be good.
It is. Let me tell you the truth. Let me get the link for it. But I'm pumped. I'm very, very pumped. You know what I mean? Because we have. It's just I really want this to be a super player friendly event. I guess you know what I mean. Like that's. Yep. I know the kind of things I like be as a player, and I really want all of those to be included for us. So that's kind of my jam. You know what I mean? So I want everything to run super, super well and to be, hopefully everybody has a great time. So that's the biggest thing. I just want everybody to have fun. Link, Beast Coast Pairings event, copy, rink, paste. Did I do it? I'm so fucking proud of myself. Look at that, a link. Whoa! Brad Chester, technical master. So
we're both doing the same thing at the same time, so we're good.
I mean, we'll definitely get you some Coney dogs, brother. I'm done with Fago. Actually, that's a lie. I do like the one Fago I like is cream soda Fago. Brad's body fails, but his brain's grows. That's the problem. My brain is growing, but my skull doesn't get any bigger. You're like, apparently that's a problem.
That's what it drills for.
Just take a little bit on the side, let it out.
Hole in, it'll be all
Just deflate him like a balloon. It's no big deal. But
so, of course, as we look at the stats from this last weekend, which is what we're supposed to be doing, but we like to get off track. It's our thing.
What?
Yeah. So Imperial Agents had a big weekend of win percentage.
I was say they played 10 wins, 15 games.
I actually went and looked at the armies just to go, oh, all right, so it's a horde. All right, good enough. Moving on.
It's funny because Gilbert was just asking me this. We played over the weekend in Glass City, and he's like, "Hey, Brad, what do you think about Imperial Agents?" It's like, "Can you make it work?" And I go, "Yes and no." I go, because the problem is you could beat a couple things because you can have a bunch of bodies, the 4-up invuln. You've got Judge Dredd everywhere, and then someone just shows up with a lot of attacks and you just die. So you don't really have damage and
then sitting on my hobby table today, I am putting together cops.
Of course you are. Judge Dredd, I am the law.
I mean, that is 100% for me for narrative play, not for competitive play with the entire cop army.
Ooh, did I tell you that? I'm gonna try to do the Nova narrative. I'm gonna do my first narrative event this year.
Nice.
I'm excited. So I got convinced at the championships that I've been hemming and hawing about it for a while, and I want to give it a go. I want to check it out. I really like the lore. That's obviously so, but I want to jam in it. I want to rock and roll.
Nice. So Imperial Knights had a very good weekend at 59% win rate. They won 2 events
with a good amount of games played too. This isn't like a flash in the pan. You know what I mean?
No.
Still $148 in games played, with a decent amount of players, 30 players on it. I think that Imperial Knights are fine. The thing is Imperial Knights, you almost have to cherry pick your tournaments and see what the terrain's going to be and what the mission's going to be. And obviously not everybody's, has the ability to travel to exactly where they want to go. but it makes such a big difference for knights. You know what I mean? Hey, are you playing Purge the Foe on, Type 6 or something? Yeah, I'm there.
Yep. I think part of the thing with them is sometimes they just get very favorable matchups throughout an event with, something that just can't handle them.
I love it. Lyle's just like all caps. I've been trying to get you to do Nares with me for years. I know. I decided that I was going to give it a go. I was worried because I didn't want to be the guy that power games the narrative. You know what I mean? So, but I want to show up with cool shit, and it just also the narrative people look like they're having so much goddamn fun. Like, so that's the big thing. They look like they're having more fun than the other tournaments are having. So that seems like where I want to go. Wherever the people just look like they're having a good time, I want to be in that event.
So then we move on to Chaos Demons, who had a really good weekend, a huge win percentage with tons of games. And that Legion of Excess at a 72% win rate with 68 games played is
it's better than it's better than I thought. I thought it was going to be pretty good, but I was worried that their ability wasn't going to translate all the time. I think it works really well into non-melee armies, for one, because it really picks tanks up and throws them. You know what I mean? GSC or Biobalance finally? Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if GSC are at the balanced point. I think there's a learning curve when something new happens to an army. And once people figure out and adjust to it, I think that's going to bring them back up. I still think they're really good.
Okay. By the way, can we talk about let's talk about Demons a smidge more. We're coming back to them because I do want to talk real quick about the old wager for Drukhari, because holy God, is that a goofy ass. It's got some cool shit in it, but like, who's got the token changes so much, and it can change multiple times in a turn. You know what I mean?
Depending it took me like 5 readings of that to go, I think I got it. And then I read it again and went, I don't think I got it.
Yeah. And you're just like, oh no, you killed something here, but who he gets, and then he kills something he gets. Boom, 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 boom. So that's really why it's funny that it did really well. Also, Drukhari has been running a roller coaster of win percentage for the last 6 months. I feel like every time we look at them, they're like 56, 58%, 40%, 56, 40. You're like, is this army good? I don't know, man.
So this is going to sound a little slanted because I consider him a friend of mine. When Scari's playing that weekend with Drukhari, there's a larger percentage that they're going to have a better win percentage.
Yeah, exactly. And KR 100%. And speaking of tokens, the Tzeentch, the new detachment for Tzeentch, where you just give your opponent tokens and they give them back as they use them, and I don't know how I feel about that. I feel that army has power, but like, we played and talked through like some playtest games, and it's real annoying when you give your opponent the ability to reroll stuff and they make the saves because you gave them rerolls. You're like, I don't really like what just happened there.
I did play against that at Snig's event, and there was definitely to my advantage to reroll certain stuff with Tyranids that I never had rerolls for, and I was just like, well, yay, fun.
Yeah, it's like, thanks for the rerolls, man. You're like, I don't know how I feel about this. Just keep all the tokens until the last turn. Yeah, it was just funny because we were doing that. I'm just like, I'm going to use all 3 tokens that you gave me for all these, reroll these armor saves. Cool. Looks like I made them all now. And he's just like, this is dumb. I'm like, you gave them to me. Gene Stealers. Tell me what you think about Final Day.
I think because of the units that they have access to from Tyranids, which gives them a lot of infiltrate and a lot of pre-game board presence and some ability to control where they can come in and get some angles for shooting. It's really strong. I think it takes a lot of work and a lot of practice to get it to work, but I think it's pretty good. It's going to be one of those ones where over time we'll see how it holds up. But the fact that you are using Tyranids to screen out. You can recur at a really good rate the units that you really need to recur out of that, and you're not so dependent upon T3 squishy guys every time is a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know what I thought about that. It's just, it doesn't get all the other stuff that you get from, regular Tyranids and stuff like that. So it's back and forth on it. But you have access to, yep. Just, yep.
You have 2 to 3 Lictors and the Death Leaper with Fight First. I'm just saying that is a huge boost to GSC.
Yeah, I mean, you can put, there's just the combinations that are there pretty crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and a unit of Raveners for up down. That's super easy to use, and you can. I think there's a lot of tools in that toolbox. It takes a long time. It's going to take a long time to master it. Pardon me. But I think it's really solid.
When am I getting my damn Ragnar detachment?
Patience, young grasshopper.
I have none. It's been over a half a century, and I still haven't developed any. So
this is true.
Like, are we there yet?
No, we're not there yet. But I mean, let's put it this way: we know Space Wolves are going to be around shortly. Who knows what Thursday night brings? And we shall see.
I'm juiced about that. I mean, Death Guard are fine. I mean, the Flyborn hosts did fantastic this weekend, but they had a total of a 51% win percentage. I think Death Guard, and also, right now I'm looking again at a lot of teams. I look at a lot of teams a lot. I play more teams than I play anything else. But man, Death Guarded teams are terrifying. You know what I mean? Especially when you go, hey, I heard you had a hand-to-hand army. Be a bummer if you were -2 to hit. So all of the stuff, by the way, apparently YouTube thinks that I'm going to go fix some shit because they keep giving me ads for do-it-yourself stuff. And I think they're really overestimating my skills.
I've seen your house, Brad. So.
I haven't fixed shit. I have not fixed a damn thing, clearly.
I still like that we're in Brad's living room and he looks up at the ceiling and goes, oh yeah, I painted a couple months ago. I should probably take that tape down.
and still haven't put the electrical the covers back on. I did. By the way, this is how completely zero. I put no skills into or no points into perception. I just noticed when you came over that I didn't have covers on my outlets. I'm like, I'm like, wow, I do not pay attention to anything. I'm wondering if how much you could just get away with me not noticing.
But I'm gonna go with a lot.
Yeah.
So. I would remind you about a game at ACO with a detachment of Zangors or something.
4-inch coherency is 4-inch coherency, man. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Yeah.
Oh God.
So I actually think Flyborn Host did not have a lot of games played, which is slightly surprising to me. I think that's a super strong detachment,
dude. Scout and
I think it's just going to keep growing in popularity.
100%. Necrons are still Necrons, man. We saw exactly what I thought we were going to see, which is just a metric ton of Star Shatter. You know what I mean? I just thought we were going to see a billion of them. So I wasn't thinking about that. But we had multiple people played a lot of different things on this. I mean, they still put in some games on it. Now, what I loved is the Orc players went, let's play every single detachment. I loved it. I mean, they also did well. You know what I mean? Look at the detachments. I mean, except for the big hunt. Fix the goddamn rules.
They'll get there.
Sandy,
my big thing is I love that tactical brigade. I just think it's super fun to play. I think you can do so many silly things with it.
It's the most fun in Orcs, I think, just because you can just do wacky shit and you declare what you want to do, and then you can do two things. I like playing Orcs anyways, but man, that's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the one game that I watched and I looked at it and I went, Luda's on a board. I was like, oh yeah, You can attach a mech to those. Oh, this is going to be fun.
We are coming. Are either of you signed up with the team and coming to 8TC at the end of February, Cleveland, Tennessee? Yes. Or no? Where are we going? We're going to North Carolina somewhere. Are we going to that one too? I don't know. To be honest with you, Lyle tells me when I should leave. I just get in the car. So, yes, I think we're playing in 8TC. We're going to North Carolina, not Tennessee. Okay, that we'll be there. Oh, we're going to Juice's place. That's hard to miss though, because Juice's place is amazing. It's in his resort, and it's a lot of fun. The Battle Brothers boys are just such a good time. I have to give them props all the time. YOLO Swag Battle Brothers guys, they're always fun. And so it's always a good time when you're hanging out with them. Those are some guys that, like, while great players, ton of great players, they've got a long lineup of good players, but also it's just a bunch of dudes that just want to hang out. And that's what I really like. So to get me to an event, you have to talk to my my manager, Lyle Dixon. So to get me to show up somewhere. I also have triple booked myself already this year, which was impressive. I just said yes to multiple people that I was going to go to an event. Whoopsie, my bad. Let's skip over to Blood Angels.
This is one of the ones where it's like I think that Liberator Assault group's really good. I think the Angelic is amazing. I don't think they're bad in any way, shape, or form. And the change to Oath of, hey, if you don't take Blood Angels in your Blood Angels army, you're fine.
Kara, I agree. I was going to go on Custodes with this. Yes, it is hard to keep your CP up. I think one of the biggest things, and I'll give my grad coaching moment here for a moment. I think that when you're playing the Solar Spearhead, you threaten to use CP and you hold on to them most of the time, because all you're trying to do is push your opponent away, basically keep them at arm's reach and fight where you want to fight, because you still end up with very few units. It's just Custodes, you know what I mean? So like I think that you have to wait to use a lot of your CP, and you're threatening more so than anything. You want to basically say that I could go through the wall, advance, you know what I mean? Advance and charge and go. And then just kind of creep up and fight. And with the way that the game's played, we are significantly more interactive than we were in Leviathan. It's still not crazy interactive, but like with the Tipping Point, for instance, I love that deployment, because they just put the objectives effectively on a very steep line where you have to do something with you have to engage with your opponent if you're taking objectives. So I like that, you know what I mean? So I think you can do that very well with that Custodes detachment. You know what I'm surprised I didn't see even more of? The Warpbane Task Force. Those guys are good, man. Just full rerolls. They still have a tank problem, so I don't think you're ever going to see them spike super high. Very, very good army, but they can bounce. You know what I mean? If they just face really high armor.
Yep.
This stream lacks a Kyle Treya. Dude, you wander in the woods. We never know when you're going to be around. I just assume you're trying to take Bigfoot pictures, grainy footage.
So on to guard, because I don't want to call them that term. That bridgehead strike it's
bananas. It's just bananas, and there's multiple ways to play it. You've seen guys with tank commanders, you've seen the max guys, there's multiple ways to jam those out. Scions being battle line just gives you so many options of it. We've been working with a lot of different versions of Lyle's list. I just think that it's a really, really good army. It just has a lot of play, and it's that many guys getting +1 to wound with rerolls and everything else going on.
Oh, trust me, Lyle. I know Scions got better when I first saw it, and I was like, oh, there's no deep strike there. All right, I'm not so worried about Scions and that detachment now. And then GW went, No. Our bad. We screwed up. And I went, aw, sad face. They don't ride to war. They still drop to war.
You know what? I'm gonna give KR props, and then I'm gonna tell Zoobs to screw off because that's now in my head. KR goes, Bigfoot takes pictures of Kyle. So, and unfortunately, Zoobs gave me a BANANAS, bananas. God damn it. I'm gonna be singing that for the rest of the night. Tau. What's going on with Tau, by the way? They haven't gotten any worse.
They haven't gotten any worse. I just think other things came up enough. I think the hunting pack is got some legs. I think Retcad got taken down a little bit too far.
Agreed on that. I didn't think it needed to be touched.
But I think it's one of those things where the faction specialists can do really well with them. And I think Mon-Ka may be the play going forward.
Right.
But we'll have to see.
I'm going to have to yell it loud. So they absolutely got worse if you were playing Retcad.
Yes.
But I was all about my Kayon. So, yeah, said that. Retcad got blown up. However,
Yep.
I think that Kayon and Mon-Ka were fantastic. So,
Yeah.
I don't think that anything changed there.
And the auxiliary cadre, I think that's one of the ones where it's going to take a while to figure that detachment out.
Man, I was really hoping when they put out that auxiliary detachment that they were going to start putting some of the other races in there for Tau.
We can hope.
I don't know. That's one of those ones where I think that they're missing a huge opportunity to put super cool units, because Tau has so many races that are part of the Tau Empire that they've absorbed into it, and they all have different fighting styles. So you could put so much more shit out there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I don't know. So, AdMech, man, AdMech is in a pretty decent spot. I really like the Halos Creed quite a bit, with giving the option to do like things like +2 move and shit like that. Anytime you can mess around with your movement, it's huge. I really wish they wouldn't have buffed up their points, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they would have just left them with their old points and then gave them some buffs, just leave them go. I think they need just a little bit. I think they're good. I think they're better than people think, because you don't see that many AdMech people playing it because they're super expensive still. But
it is the most dollar per point army to play.
Yeah, it's not even great. Hey, you know what didn't get played this weekend? I was looking at Eldari and I see Battle Host got 100% of Eldar games played. It was like that other faction wasn't good at all. Remember when it said there was a couple stinkers?
That was the one. I assume that's one of the ones we're going to look at when the book comes out for Eldar, and we're going to go, oh, yeah, this was written for this.
Yeah, probably.
And we'll be fine with it, and then we won't care so much. But in today's day and age...
yeah, it's just... Chaos Knights also had a stinker detachment. I'm sorry, but their new detachment was bad. I think it's probably the worst.
I thought the Eldari one was worse personally, but
hey, at least they don't take damage to do nothing.
It's true.
Chaos Knights literally to kill people to get absolutely nothing for their buffs. Space Marine players still complaining. News at 11. What are they complaining about?
I think Space Marines are fine.
They also have so many new ways to play.
That Librarius Conclave is going to be figured out shortly. It would be my guess.
I mean, you brought back Ironstorm. Gladius is still legit. Vanguard got a giant buff. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think that Marines are fantastic. I don't think they're OP, but I think that Marines got a ton of new ways to play. They got some life breathed back into them, because I thought they got too many nerfs for the main book because the non-compliant codexes were winning. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I won't even get on my stool. It still doesn't make me that tall, but they just have to separate those goddamn books. You know what I mean? It's just period. Deathwatch has got to be figured out. We'll see what's going on. I really do think that Deathwatch has a lot of play.
Yep, I agree. And Thousand Suns have gotten hit a lot to where if you're not a few select players in the world, they're tough to play right now.
Yeah, I'll give you that because it's a very difficult army to go into. Also, KR, the bike characters and stuff like that. I still think that whoever leads your army, doesn't matter what your army is. I don't care if you're Marines or whatever. If you have certain characters, it should change how you bring your army. If you're led by a guy on a bike, you're led by a psyker, you're led by whatever the hell you're led by, it should change how you put together your army. That's just my 2 cents on that. Tyranids came in at 46, but they were winning much better in the last 2 weeks before that. So I don't think a lot of that. I have been working
number of games dipped down as well.
Yeah,
quite a little bit.
I think Assimilation Swarm has play. I've been working on that with Matt Dennis quite a bit. Just being able to regen guys back, and you can just like put a whole unit back out. They do old Necron stuff, you know what I mean, where you could just regen a unit in front of someone as they're about to charge you and shit. You can do a lot of shenanigans, kind of, steal objectives in the command phase. I think there's play there. Is it the end all be all? I don't know, but it is pretty fun.
I honestly think that they're one of the armies where almost every one of, I actually think now all their detachments are playable. I don't think there's one that cannot take a tournament at some point in time.
Sorry, Nurgle Matt. Get wrecked, T-Sons. That's kind of like with Eldar. No one's really shedding a tear, especially in most of 10th when T-Sons you just go, so I just pick up all my models because of mortals? I guess.
Yeah, it's true.
World Leaders doing World Leader stuff. I do like the fact that I think that both detachments now out there for World Leaders can be argued either one. They're very good either way. I like it a lot. I actually think that there's a lot of play in that new detachment because you can auto tell, say what you're going to get in addition. So it's just really cool. Mm-hmm. So I like that. Dark Angels are in a weird spot, but I still think they're really good, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that they're underutilized in some things because people try to push certain builds that are more difficult to play down. But I think that overall, and the Lion needs to be better. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Well, cheaper would be a nice start.
Yeah, I mean, he went up. He got a real sweep attack, and they said, "Hey, you got a real attack. You're 30 points more." You're like, I was already too expensive.
Yeah.
So, but they're good on that. CSM, Creations of Bile, and Renegade Raiders seem to be significantly better than everybody else. Maybe.
Yep, I agree on that.
So
they hit the whatever it was, the Chaos Cult detachment, like super hard.
Well, they smashed that.
Yeah, they smashed that into the ground, so that's not going to see a lot of play right now. Dread Talons is awful. Soulforge Warp Pack could be okay, but it's tough to maneuver around a table.
Yeah, I was just say if you have open tables, that thing puts down like horrific damage. But the problem is it is trouble scoring. Yeah, exactly. Yep. I heard Double Oath and CP Refund is good. Yeah, it's pretty good. League. Well, let's talk about League and Votann and Sisters. Sisters have had a hard time since their nerf, man.
They got hit way too hard.
They should have just changed mechanics and left points. The problem right now is they just don't have enough shit. And the issue is that if you have, they've got a couple durable things, obviously, you've got tanks and then you've got Paragon warsuits, but the rest of your army is still a bunch of T3 models that are one wound for the most part.
Yeah, I think they priced Exorcists, I don't want to say out of the meta, but they made them just a little bit too much.
210, man.
Yeah, it's like 190 was perfectly acceptable. 210 is just too much.
It just doesn't have enough volume to get that kind of price tag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
the Castigator is still good.
Castigator's still good. It probably, and you knew it was going to get hit twice. It got hit multiple times. I mean, it was probably too cheap in the beginning. I think that after their first or second nerf, they were fine, and then they went up another 20 points, and I thought that was too much. Smash that harder than Brangelina.
Black Templar, man, they hit him a little too hard. I think they needed
It's
to be
it's
they
the
needed to be
combination.
touched, but they got hit too hard.
It's just, again, it's the problem with the synergies, man. They just keep hitting, because all the books are tied together, because Space Marines has a main book that everything touches off from there. You touch too many things. Then when they were trying to fix Dark Angels and Blood Angels, and then things like Black Templars got their own nerf in their specific units, but all the shit that they brought also got nerfed, but it didn't get nerfed because of them. It got nerfed because of other people, and then, you know, the total of their army got really hit.
I think we'll keep saying this. Just take the Marines points and did like you do with Imperial Agents, and put the points for Blood Angels.
Yes.
Everything's underneath them, underneath Dark Angels, so on and so forth.
100%, man. I feel yes, and more yes. Yep. Also, what do I want to look at? I wanted to look at a specific model. I was going to show everybody's. They had a Valdor, didn't they? Am I just missing? I went to the page here for community. Maybe I'm just high on crack cocaine. That could also be a thing. The crack is strong. The crack is strong. I have watched the Marines on Secret Level about 44 more times, though.
It's really enjoyable. It makes you feel a lot more for the standard Imperial citizen, I think is the way to put that.
Oh, I just love when that dude's driving his trike at him, and he just just puts his shoulder down, like, yeah, good to hear, man. And he just explodes. like what was your plan, man? I'm just
and
gonna
all
keep
I know
going.
now is I want Chaos Cultist bikes 100% for the army.
Oh, that's a Necromunda game more than anything.
Like a random White Dwarf article or something with those, I'm gonna be heartbroken.
I'm thinking about playing. There's a Necromunda League coming up for it. I was thinking about jumping into that and playing a gang. That must be the thing. They were talking about a Valdor. I thought it was actually something they released here. So it was not. The Inquisitor will see you now. Oh, that's fantastic. They just did a good job. There's been a ton of stuff. That is top 5 for sure of anything that I've watched in 40K, because it gave the feel of what's going on, for, you know what I mean? It gave like a good feel. I think the one, my favorite is still The Last Church. That's my favorite media that's ever been put out for 40K. I love that. I don't even know who did that. They just did a great job. So whoever did The Last Church, you're the best. So that was fantastic. But man, I like that. I wish they did more of that right now. I wish that Warhammer Plus had more Plus. I've said that before. They put out a lot of good stuff. They just need to put out more stuff, you know?
I have to say that as it progresses, it keeps getting better. I would assume over the next few years, as the Amazon deal money starts rolling in and everything else, we'll start getting more and more content.
I hope so. Well, yeah, I got another question for everybody, if anybody knows. They haven't put out completely on it. Has anybody seen whether they said that Space Marine 2 is full canon lore?
Full canon.
That's what I thought, but they didn't state it, and they usually do with their releases.
It is full canon.
Yeah, because that also has some pretty badass storyline too, to be honest.
Yeah.
That made Ultramarines wildly more exciting than they used to be, because they really took their special characters and made them badass and made them cool. I really enjoyed that. I get myself motivated, listen to the Cadian speech and stuff like that. I'm like, it's a tough day, Brad. Let's listen to some Space Marine 2 speeches to get you going.
I can always go with the speeches thing. So GW re-released for the first time in probably like 3 years the Infantryman's Handbook, and it sold out almost instantly. So I have a feeling they're going to just have to keep that book in print forever, because it is absolutely fantastic.
But before we leave, I want to ask you a question for everybody. I get asked all the time from the Lorecast, what what to start with. You know what I mean? People listen to that. Like a lot of people came from Space Marine 2 and things of that nature. And people ask me what to start with. And my go-tos are the beginning of the Horus Heresy books and the Eisenhorn books. What I would, before we go tonight, I want to ask everybody that goes into the novels, what would you tell people to start with? Somebody's getting into 40K lore right now. What would you have them go with?
The Night Lord's Omnibus.
Night Lord's Omnibus? That's a good book.
It's absolutely the best Chaos books, in my opinion.
Gaunt's Ghosts, really, really good. That's like my third on that. Exactly. Kyle just keeps pissing me off by telling me how cool Lorgar is. I'm like, God damn it.
Like I said, we all have to thank Erebus. He's the reason we have 40K.
I mean, 100%. That's why it annoys me about Lorgar so much, is Erebus is comically evil. He's like twisting his mustache every time he does something. And you're like, who let that guy in wearing like a hat that says villain? Like, I think that might be that guy's fault there. But Lorgar's still at home pouting while Erebus is doing all this crazy stuff. First Heretic, that's a good book too.
I agree, Zuber. The Uriel Ventress novels are underrated.
True story. I mean, I want people to read a little bit more than I want everyone to read Caiaphas Cain books. So,
and that's personally my least favorite of the Imperium characters.
Caiaphas Cain, he's just a goof.
Yeah,
I don't even think any of his stuff is legit too. So, because it's him just telling a story, and you're like, I don't think that I believe anything you're saying.
And of course, the if someone asks me, what's my favorite book, it's The Day of Ascension, the Gene Stealer cult Admech and Sisters novel, which is absolutely fantastic.
What's the Necron one? I love that one too. Infinite and the Divine. It's bad. You have to be like a really good. You have to be a 40K fan before you read some of the in-depth ones, because they just assume you know all about the setting. You know what I mean for that. So with that being said, holy shit. As usual, I just keep yapping. Let's do stuff and things. Let's wave ourselves out of here. Everybody, we're back in business. We'll be around as long as nobody dies or gets hit by a comet, or both. We will be hanging out. You never know. So let's Queens wave ourselves out of here.
Have a good night, folks.
Enjoy. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody.